Welcome back to the LoreX podcast, everybody.
I'm a hawk. I go. Kya!
I'm a swallow. I go.
I'm an albatross. I go.
Is that the sound an albatross actually makes?
It's as close as I can replicate it with my mouth. If you don't know what an albatross sounds like, look it up on YouTube. It's actually kind of crazy.
I just looked it up, and it's apparently like they take their beaks and they do like this.
Yeah, like really
with it.
quickly. It's crazy. Nature
That's
is
concerning.
crazy. Why are we bringing up these three birds in particular? Because that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
We're talking
Famous?
about the Babylon Rouges.
Or is it the Babylon Rogues?
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know which one is which. Anytime I see the term R-O-U-G-E in the Sonic world, I'm like, is it Rouge or is it Rogue or is it Roga?
I think it's
don't know.
I think it's because of Sonic. I actually have a hard time spelling that word because 9 times out of 10 I end up spelling Rouge, not Rogue.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I think they're spelled the same.
Well, no, they're not. It's the
no,
U's
they're
in a
not.
different spot.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and as someone who already has a hard time spelling, that's really nightmarish for me.
Well, check that out. Starting with spelling. Something that I feel like would go really well for a race called the Babylonians.
Oh my gosh.
Because like Tower of Babel or something like that, right?
Yep.
So, Lycos, you've got more history with the Babylon Rogues than I do because you played through the Sonic Riders series, right?
Yes. So
And did you do any Sonic Rivals?
So I did not play Sonic Rivals. Actually, no, I have played all of the Sonic Riders games, which that was where they were first introduced. They were first introduced in Sonic Riders, which came out in 2006. And then they made other video game appearances in the Sonic Riders franchise, that being Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and then Sonic Free Riders, which is the most forgettable and worst of the bunch because Connect.
So there's 3 games?
Yes.
There's Sonic Riders, Sonic Zero Gravity, and then Sonic Free Riders.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't even know that there were 3 games. And every single one of them, they're all the racing games with hoverboards, right?
Yes. The hoverboards are
Okay.
called Extreme Gears. The Babylon Rogues are all very skilled with Extreme Gears.
That would make sense. I mean, like, we don't see the Extreme Gear anywhere outside of the Riders game, do we? Or the Babylon Rogues themselves. So it seems like it's their technology.
In the games, no, but in other media, we have seen it, like in the comics. If you recall back to when we were talking about the classic Sonic bosses, we had the glow-up variants of the Witch Carters, and it looked like they were all on Extreme Gears.
Dude, that's a really good point. I forgot about that. Is it Carodia and the others?
Yeah, I forget their names. I'm not even going to try. The Extreme Gear is actually, I would consider it Babylonian technology.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. So, like, from what I've been able to read, the Babylon Rogues themselves currently comprise of Jet the Hawk, Wave the Swallow, and Storm the Albatross, but they're technically just a group of Babylonians who get passed around from generation to generation. It seems to be like at least the current trio are like an extreme gear riding group of thieves. And to me, I wonder whether or not this whole thievery activity has been a thing across generations and what implication that generational thievering has on the reputation of the Babylonians as they existed, I guess, way back when.
To my understanding of the readings, they have been thieves for generations.
Incredible.
The Babylonians had like really advanced technology, and they're like, man, this will help us in our thievery. One of the ancient Babylonians we know of, their name is literally Stolen.
I'm sorry. You named your child Stolen
Yes.
and wondered why they grew up to be a thief.
To my knowledge, they have always been thieves.
To that point, they've always been thieves. Like,
Well-
I suppose, I think the Babylon rogue status passes down from family member to family member because I see in the other mentions of these Babylon rogues are that Stolen character that you mentioned, but also Jet's father.
Yes.
And supposedly Wave's father too. Maybe it's not that crazy that somebody would name their kid Stolen because they were a thief and their father was a thief and their father's father was a thief.
Yes. Jet's father. We have a picture that is potentially Jet's father. It's either Jet's father or Jet wearing some drip, and that's it. And what we know of his father is his father is still alive, at least in one of the comic series, because his father sent him a belated birthday card.
Oh,
and
man.
that's it. That's
Daddy
all we
really
know.
loves him.
That's all we know about Jet's daddy. We have nothing on Waves. Like, if you look on the Sonic Wiki, her dad literally does not even have a page. He's just a name.
Wave the Swallow's father. Maybe Google has info.
Oh, Google, tell
Wave
us.
the father's wall. Nope, I got
And
nothing.
it's funny because we have at least a parental figure for those two, but we have nothing on Storm.
Yeah, where the heck is Storm's lineage? Well, hold on. Okay, well, what about who are these characters? You know, we're defining these characters by their family, right? But who are they? Like, who is Jet?
All right.
What is Jet? He's a hawk. Hawks go Kia, Kia. Supposedly.
Jet is kind of a prick, to be honest. He's snarky, he's rude, he's cocky. I would say he's greedy, but they're all greedy because, again, they're all thieves, so that one tracks. Yeah. Jet's generally disrespectful to not only everyone else, but also his team, which is not ideal traits for a leader. Wave is like the brains of the group, and sometimes, like, if she's trying to, like, get them to hone in on their responsibilities or trying to explain something to Jet, he will tune her out because of her long-winded explanations and tell her to, like, basically dumb it down or, like, just can it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
Jet, what the heck, dude?
Storm is the muscle of the trio, and he
I
is
love
not
this
like
wiki
Big,
page.
where Big is specifically not dumb. Storm is. He is
I
all
love looking at
muscle,
this wiki
but just
page.
dumb.
I love this wiki page of it says one of Storm's most defining traits is his lack of intelligence. It's like, boy, you're doing my albatross dirty.
It makes me sad because of the trio, I have always loved Storm. It's not just because I like power types as like a game mechanic, but I'm like, the big muscle guy, like, yeah, he's cool, except he's just dumb as bricks. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I think my favorite part about Storm is the fact that he's got scleras that are black. Like, his eyes appear to be inside of these deep sunken eye sockets.
You know how sometimes in like anime, like one-shot movies, like the villain will have 3 minions, and it's like you have like the pretty one, the one with weird powers, and the big strong stupid one. Storm is the big strong stupid one. I guess Jet would be the handsome one, and Wave's the weird one.
I think I could vibe with that. I mean, it looks like Wave wields a giant wrench because I think she's the mechanic of the crew.
She is. She's the one who builds like their extreme gears, tunes them up, and that is part of why she also has this trait of being very rude and like looking down on others. Is she will basically call anything she did not build a pile of junk, and that's part of why she has an intense rivalry with Tails.
That would make sense.
But then again,
so I mean, you were saying too that, like, I think we were discussing either on our previous episode or outside that, like, in the Free Riders games, which I haven't played, each character does have a type associated with them. Like, Storm is a power type. Wave is
flying type.
That makes sense. And then I guess Jet would be speed type, right?
Yeah, and it also corresponds to their rivalries with our team heroes or Team Sonic, whatever you want to call them. Jet has this huge beef with Sonic, Wave with Tails, Knuckles with Storm.
And to be fair, like, I guess the Babylon Rogues on their own could be another, like, trio team like we see in Sonic Heroes.
They totally could.
Sonic Heroes 2?
Maybe someday, please.
Maybe someday, please.
I would actually love a Sonic Heroes 2. Like, I know the first one's a little weird, especially like after revisiting it like a year ago. Still want another one. Like, if they were like, hey guys, we're doing Sonic Heroes 2, I would be like, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll play it. And who knows, maybe we'd have another team with that would include Silver Blaze and someone else, because I know that was a big thing for like when people wanted Sonic Heroes 2. They're like, oh my gosh, we could have like a team with Silver and Blaze and someone else. It would be great. And that would actually be really fun because you get telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and then whoever the third member will be.
So we got thieving birds. We got a purple one, a green one, and a gray one. The gray one's the stupid one. The purple one's the smart one. And the green one and the other two are kind of assholes.
They're all just jerks in their own ways.
That's fair.
The two big traits they have amongst the three of them are their greed and their rudeness. Admittedly, Jet actually does get better over the games. He becomes like less rude to his team, which is good. Like, I actually like that he gets some character development through these games. But
yeah, because actually I remember, Lycos, you lent to me the Zombots arc in the comic series, and I read it on this little vacation that I took. And from what I got of Jet to his team, he actually seemed kind of noble in a way, willing to go down with the ship of his team in this whole like kind of nautical extreme gear flying pirate thing we got going on.
Well,
here.
actually, that does make a lot of sense, like going with the pirate theme, because the design concept going into the Babylon Rogues was they wanted something that were air pirates. So how else do you get air pirates than with birds? And their base of operation is a airship.
Come to think of it, I want to dive into this airship, but also, what other birds do we have in the Sonic series? Are they all just high-flying pirates who thieve?
Okay, because let's see. We have Bean the Dynamite from like Sonic Fighters.
Yo!
And I think
wait, what kind of?
I think he's a
What kind of bird
woodpecker.
is he a woodpecker?
I think he is.
Hold up, apparently the comic calls him a duck.
That's not correct at all. He's a woodpecker.
Nah, I don't know.
Woodpeckers are not ducks.
Look at Dynamite's nose. That's not a bill. That's a pecker.
But yeah, so we have Bean. Oh, what was the there was an owl. There was an owl in the radio station.
I remember
what was
in
his
the comics.
name?
Night the Owl.
Yes.
And the dude, Don the Rooster.
Oh yeah.
They work at the radio station together.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about those guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh no, how can we forget the Battle Cuckoos?
Well, you mean the Russians who are dressed up as birds?
Yes. It's as Battle Cuckoo are called. I will kill you.
Yes. It's okay, Cuckoos. You can have the bird title too. You can have it. Don't let me forget it. Dude, I want to do it. I'm gonna do a whole episode of the Battle Cuckoos.
We'll do it. We'll do it another day, but we'll do it.
We should play Tails Adventure. Oh, was that Tails Adventure or?
I think
it was Tails
so.
Adventure.
Yeah,
I think
it was a Tails game.
Oh my god! Just so we could talk about the Battle Cuckoos.
Of those birds, I want to say Bean was like really into like treasure and nabbing shiny things, which I feel like that's actually like a real world bird thing to do, because isn't it, I believe it's crows who like to collect shiny bits and baubles.
Oh yeah. And if raccoons could have wings, which they don't, thank goodness.
Yeah, no, otherwise no one's trash would be safe.
So speaking of flying raccoons, you were mentioning a ship.
Yes, because
giant floating shiny object.
I don't think it's shiny, because I want to say it's almost like a classic similar to Bowser's airship, so I want to say it's basically like a wooden boat.
When I was doing some research into the games themselves, again, I haven't played these, but it seems like the plot of the games is to try to find these little like rings that power this ship that you're speaking of, the arcs of something.
No, you are completely wrong, my sir.
Oh, good. Please correct me.
Okay, we need to actually go back in time. We'll go back in time for this one. We'll start with Sonic Riders. Basically, this one is Eggman hosts this World Grand Prix racing contest using extreme gears and has the Babylon Rogues a part of it. Jet has this blue magical box. I believe it's called the Key to Babylon. And from the Babylonian like legends, that key will will access ancient Babylon stuff, which supposedly has this ancient Babylonian treasure. Obviously, the Babylon Rogues want it. Eggman wants it to try and do world domination, but there's a catch that apparently the legend doesn't say, and basically nowhere written or oral does it say, but for this key to work, it needs all 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, sure.
So the entry fee for this tournament is a Chaos Emerald. So that way, the winner gets them all, because Eggman's a trustworthy host, and that makes sense. Basically, end of the World Grand Prix, Jet won technically because Wave sabotaged Sonic's extreme gear.
Oh, classy.
In between races, she's like, hey, I think your extreme gear isn't total junk. Can I see it? So as she's looking at it, she plants a bomb on it. And during the final race, right before Sonic gets to the finish line, his gear explodes. And he flies off and Jet wins the race. And when all of the Chaos Emeralds unite with his special little box, it shoots a beam out into the desert. And this raises Babylon Garden. They don't have that
ship you were talking about.
This is a ship. This is the big special ship. But
interesting.
They don't know this is a big special ship. They're just like, oh, this is the Babylon Garden of Legend, and that's where the treasure is housed. So of course they start racing there to try and get the treasure. They piss off this genie-like construct, I'm gonna call it, called the Babylon Guardian. I don't know if you've seen this guy. He's a purple genie.
Oh, dude! Look at the tongue on that guy.
So basically he's like, oh, intruders, I'll destroy you. So yeah, you basically have to race and hurt this guy. The boss fight itself is really weird, if I recall correctly. And so you beat him accessing the ultimate Babylonian treasure, which it turns out it is a magic carpet. They see this, Eggman is like, oh, it's just a magic carpet. This is useless to me. This won't help me conquer the world. I'm out. Sonic Team and Babylon Rogues are like, oh, cool. This is ours now, I guess. And basically the important implication here is this magic carpet was essentially the original Extreme Gear.
Oh, okay. So hold up. You were saying there's a special box that you have to open with the power of Chaos Emeralds. I'll let you have that one.
You don't open
There's a
it.
genie-looking... Oh, you don't open it?
No, it is the key that rose Babylon Garden.
Okay, but there's a special container, there's a genie-looking guardian, and there's a magic carpet.
Yes.
So when did we get back to Sonic and the Seven Rings?
Actually, I think this was before Sonic and the Seven Rings, because when did that come out?
Like
2007.
2007. So that was, it was a year after.
Yeah.
Because you said 2006?
Yes.
Like, I'm not the only one thinking there's a connection between the Arabian Nights and whole genie magic stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That feels kind of related.
Actually, you're not entirely far off, because ancient Babylonians were genies for some reason. They're alien genies from beyond the stars.
What?
So the Babylon Garden was their spaceship, and they were flying across the stars. When they got near Earth, they had these rings that powered their ship. Those were the ones you were mentioning earlier.
The arcs.
Yes. When they got near Earth, the arcs started becoming unstable and were about to create a black hole. So the ancient Babylonians ejected the arcs from their ship. So that way, they wouldn't make a black hole.
And if they did, it would make a black hole on the planet instead, which they are now crashed into.
Basically just kind of floated on Earth. Let's just call it Earth for simplicity's sake. It floated there, and they were basically wanting to find the arcs and basically keep them away from each other. And the arcs actually have a bit of a magnetism property where if you have one arc, it will actually be attracted to the others.
Oh, interesting. And are these arcs responsible for I guess the levitatory powers of the ship? Anti-gravity?
Yes, because they have gravity altering abilities. That's part of where we get the Sonic Riders zero gravity.
Zero gravity. Oddly enough, I feel like there's also a connection here between the Babylonian ship, which you called, what did you call that again?
Babylon Garden.
Oh, okay, just Babylon Garden. Their ship malfunctioning when they got close to Earth, just like the ancient ships.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Earth is a weird place. So is the Master Emerald.
The big difference here is the Babylons, we don't have an explanation as to why the arcs started to malfunction and try to create this black hole. We don't really have an explanation as to why that happened.
Okay.
But yeah, for the arcs, there's 5 of them. One of them is the master arc, and it's the big controlling one. But so anyhow, the Babylonians stuck on Earth now, they decided to, they had 2 big things. Whenever they saw a shooting star, they would always try and go investigate it, because there's a chance it could have been one of the arcs, because all of the arcs are now in Earth's atmosphere.
If they were ejected from the ship, did they also want to have the other arcs be ejected from the ship too?
All of the arcs were ejected, because again...
they were ejected and they're floating in the atmosphere, is what you were saying.
Yeah, and basically, so the Babylons are kind of waiting for them to come down, so they can hide them to keep them separated, because they're okay, they're unstable, they're dangerous, we can't afford that.
And is there a point where this Babylon Garden, I guess just if they were all ejected, it fell to the ground, it couldn't levitate if it didn't have its anti-gravity engines or something, right?
Actually, it did still levitate, to my knowledge. I'm assuming basically some form of system was still operational. But so
that's a good point.
The Babylons they basically became thieves. And one of the big pieces of technology they developed to help them with this was the magic carpet I just talked about.
Oh, so they could go around real fast and take things from people.
Yep, they were, stealing, having a grand old time, and they evoked the wrath of God because they were stealing so much stuff that apparently one day they pissed off God enough where he's like, hey, see your fancy floating ship there? Bang, it's buried under the desert sun. And also, you Babylons, scattered across the world.
Well, that's super similar to this whole Tower of Babel thing, where like the what is it? The story goes they built the tower so high, and God was just like, nope, scatter.
And that was also how we got like the different languages on Earth, if I recall correctly, right?
Supposedly, that's the legend.
So their ship got buried, and the Babylons were scattered.
Oh, wild.
And basically became their own different clans. One of those clans was basically the Babylon Rogues. And that clan was special because they had the key to Babylon. Eventually,
that's
they
that box, right?
Yes, that's the box.
Yeah.
They could reactivate the ship. Over time, like through generations, the Babylons went from being genies to being birds.
I'm sorry. So they started as alien genies.
Yes.
And evolved to birds?
Yes.
Where in this chronology?
Hypothetically, it was because they started breeding with the species of Earth, and that's how they became birds. Because, it's a generational thing, so they have to have offspring.
Alien genie comes to Earth. Oh, you say these species have a cloaca? Interesting.
Is that a cloaca I see?
I'd like to rub that lamp, know what I'm saying? I don't want to think of it.
No.
I don't want to think of it. You know what? I don't want to think of this anymore.
Yeah.
I want to let's keep the genies in the books. Keep the genies in the books and in the past and in the sky and aliens.
So basically, over time, as generations moved on, the stories of Babylon got more faded until it became stuff of legend. So more modern Babylonians like Jet's father and Jetwave and Storm forget about, don't know about their alien ancestry or what Babylon Garden actually is. And also the ancient technology the Babylonians had, i.e. starship and also magic carpet. And they even stopped looking at the stars for the arcs.
Over the generations, the Babylonians forgot about their, alien ancestry and was just like, you know what? Let's forget about the stars thing. Let's forget about the Wrath of the Gods thing. Let's just keep the thievery.
At least,
and the gear.
Actually, if the magic carpet was the original extreme gear, then that technology might have actually been lost, but then essentially reinvented centuries later.
Possibly, because I guess we don't really have much background for the extreme gear, do we?
I don't believe we do. Besides the fact that the Babylon Rogues are masters with the extreme gear. And again, Jet Wave is their main mechanic for that. And then there's other companies and stuff that are making extreme gear now.
Yeah, because it looks like to me that the extreme gear is manufactured in modern times. Mm-hmm. But maybe what winds up happening is there's this kind of ancestral muscle memory in the folks descended from the Babylonians who are just naturally good at air surfers.
A lot of their history and past was essentially lost to them. In fact, the Babylonian writing, it's very similar to, I would compare it to hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt, where not many people can actually read it, where the main people in modern Sonic time who can read it are the Babylon Rogues, because obviously they probably have some records of that they had access to via adults or when they were young with their fathers and whatnot. And also treasure hunters, because Knuckles can translate it.
I wonder how Knuckles can translate. Maybe he just
Well, he is a treasure hunter. And with the fact that the Babylonians got separated, chances are there were others in the world who found their writings and maybe even found some notes, so they were able to create a translation guide, and then that got sold in those circles because of Knuckles' treasure hunting backstory. That's how he acquired that and learned how to read it.
I wonder if there's any sort of overlap between the ancient Echidna tribes and the, maybe not ancient, but Babylonian ancestors of the Babylon Rogues.
Yeah,
I wonder if there was any overlap there.
There potentially could be. There was nothing there that I saw on the wiki, I'm afraid.
No, that's fair.
But-
I mean, we also don't know that, like, you know, if we think about the chronology of when things happened on Earth or what ship crashed into Earth
When?
at any particular time,
If
we don't know
Earth
when it
had
happens.
a nickel for every time an alien ship crashed on it, it would have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's strange that happened twice.
And I guess technically speaking, the Babylon Garden didn't crash into Earth. It levitated above Earth for a while. Its denizens went out and did crimes, and then the gods were just like,
It made an emergency landing on Earth.
a forced emergency landing.
And then God's like,
On behalf
no,
of
your
divine
ship
judgments.
is crashing because I decree it. That's why.
Thou hast been smitten.
With the ancient Babylonians and the arcs, because the arcs storyline, that was specifically zero gravity. In the ancient Babylonians' lifetimes, only 2 arcs landed on Earth, and they hid them away. It wasn't until, like, modern time where the rest of the arcs landed on Earth. Eggman got, like, one landed near him and he got it, and that one was specifically the master one.
Oh, interesting.
And then-
because you did say that there was kind of a hierarchy between them.
Yes, there's like 4 general ones, and then there's the master one. And Eggman's the one who finds the master one. I know Sonic finds one, and then another lands near a robot manufacturing facility. I believe it was Meteor Tech. And the programming from this ring kind of infuses itself into one of the robots. I believe it was SCRHD. I believe that's the name of the robot. Its programming goes into this robot, so this robot now has new programming to try and unite all of the rings.
The arcs of the cosmos, as I believe they're called, now have programmatic rewrite ability.
Yep.
Sounds alien.
Geez, it's almost like it's from beyond the stars or something. Who knew?
Who knew?
Dude, bird genie aliens. Who knew? Eggman wants them all because supposedly if you gather them all, you create this, I believe the term they use is lightless black or something like that.
There's also apparently an SCR-GP. There's a GP and an HD.
Yeah. But HD is like the main one.
Yeah, because it's got horns. These robots also kind of look like Bionicle.
They do. Actually, do you remember the Bionicles that could like roll up into a ball?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's what these guys do. They roll up into rings.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they roll up into wheels and just go.
Okay.
I as a kid who likes robots and things that transform, I thought they were pretty cool. Too bad I hated the game though. Well, it was a mix of, one, I didn't have the game because I didn't have a Wii and it's a Wii exclusive, and 2, yeah, I didn't like the game. The few times I played it, I just couldn't get into it. The controls were a little weird for me.
Yes. Story. The Lightless Black is a black hole that will engulf everything. Sonic, Jet, and friends take a final stand in order to stop it. This lightless black. But what other references are made to this lightless black? That would be a pretty important question.
Well, that is referring to the black hole. But the thing is, in the Babylonian, like, ancient legends, they don't explain what the lightless black is. They only refer to it as that. So that's why they don't know, oh, it's a black hole, until SCRHD gathers them all, puts them into the core of Babylon Garden. It transforms into like its original form, which I know it has its own name. I think it's Babylon Cosmos or something like that.
Astro Babylon?
Yeah, that's it. Astro Babylon.
Astro Babylon. I think the term lightless black quite literally just refers to a black hole.
Okay.
Because I've got a quote here that says, like, if we delay, the contraction of the engine core will lead the lightless black to consume everything, which sounds a lot like a black hole.
Mm-hmm. They defeat SCRHD, who has a new name. It's like, what, Master Core Abyss or something like that?
Abyss.
But yeah, they defeat it, and with, I already forgot the name of the new Babylon Garden. But
Astro Babylon.
Astro Babylon is now in functioning order. The Babylon rogues could use it to take them back to the Babylonian home planet. But they deny this, actually, because...
Oh, interesting.
Well, for them, it's not their home. They've never been there. They've never even heard of it. Versus here on Earth, they're familiar with everything. They already have, they got ways of making money. They steal. They decline the opportunity. So I believe Astro Babylon, I think it just hangs out in the atmosphere because they all just leave.
I love the idea that these latter generation Babylonian thieves are like, you know what? Thieving on Earth is all we've known. Screw our ancestral home. We'll just like let it sit around. If there are any other other Babylonians out there who want to go home, the ship is ready for you, but we're gonna stay right here and keep on.
I mean, it
Keep on
would
jetting
also
around.
be an interesting, almost like a culture shock. Like, let's say they took that ship and went back to their home planet, because chances are the home planet, they're still like the ancient Babylonians, so they're like these genie-like creatures, and they almost be like, are you really some of us? You really sure about these? You disgusting inbred creatures.
Oh my gosh.
They choose they want to stay. It was some point during this story, Amy theorizes that the ancient Babylonians were the ones who created the tradition of wishing upon a shooting star because they were wishing it was one of the arcs.
Well, I guess now there's no point in wishing on a star anymore because all of the arcs are back of the ship. So
And yeah, that's
legend ruined. I'm curious of what the heck Astral Babylon is doing now.
I think it's just kind of chilling out because they didn't
Just
use
floating.
it.
It appears like, I mean, I don't see much on it. So I can't find anything on what the Babylon Garden is doing now, except for one trivia page that says, even though it's called a garden, Babylon Garden has hardly any plants on it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
Like,
vegetation on it.
Can you really call this a garden?
By the way, going back to what started this whole tirade, which was their airship, I just sent you a picture of it. I was wrong about what it looked like.
It looks like a giant bird blimp.
Yeah, it's a giant bird blimp.
Wait, are you sure that's not just the egg albatross?
No, that is their ship.
That's their ship?
Yes.
Wow, that looks incredibly Eggman brand.
It really does. And I can
Wow.
tell you that is not the egg albatross because there's no egg hawk on top of it. Also,
Very
the
fair.
egg albatross was primarily orange. And this is more like a red. But they did keep like
Swift correction.
Eggman's color scheme for some reason. With like the red and the yellow.
Beats me, Doug.
I don't understand it, man. These thieves don't make sense to me.
So, like, where do we find ourselves with the Babylon rogues, right? It's a generational thing. They want to continue thieving. We got some info about the Babylonians, right? There's a giant garden in the sky that's got no plants on it. And the genies are...
They want one thing only.
Men only want one thing. Extreme gear. Genies only want one thing.
It's funny as well. So Jet actually kind of cares about like the reputation the Babylon rogues have. Basically, it's like, yeah, I want us to be thieves, but we're not brutes.
You know, we're birds. We have standards.
Because in one of the comics, they had a raid on a museum or something to steal all the valuable gemstones they had. Storm, in his infinite wisdom, saw Jewel the Beetle's exoskeleton, so he took her with them.
Oh my god!
And they kidnapped her, and Jet's like, what the heck, Storm? Like, we're not brutes. Why did you kidnap this chick?
Oh my god!
And so Storm's solution was he threw her off the boat. And Jet's like, Storm, no!
Oh my gosh. Like we established, Storm is not smart.
No. Like, if we have an intelligence test between Big and Storm, Big is gonna win. Because Big is specifically stated in 3 different places, he is not dumb.
Not dumb. He is not stupid. He is just simple-minded. And we love that about Big. Dude, the big takeaway for me from this episode is that not all birds are thieves. And maybe I should rethink that going forward.
Well, I mean, hey, you at least have Night and Dawn. I don't think they're thieves.
Oh my god. Lycos, you just pointed out to me.
Yeah.
Night and Dawn.
Oh,
Night and dawn.
Night and
like
day.
night and day.
Yeah.
The rooster in the morning.
Yeah,
And the
night.
owl at night.
Oh. Like, I knew, like, Night
My
the
gosh,
Owl
dude,
because, like, a night owl. I didn't think about, like, the Night and Dawn. I didn't think about that till I... Oh, wow.
Bro, all of these bird jokes are making me go, battle cuckoo! So where we're at now, we talked about thieving birds. I feel like it only makes sense to keep within this whole realm of thieving animals.
I thought you were going to say, in this realm of committing crime. 'Cause
I
there
like
are
that too. I like
there
that.
are quite a lot of characters in this series who are criminals. If we have to talk about any criminal, let's go back to basics. Let's talk about, like, the first big name character who is like a criminal who's not Eggman.
Yeah, perhaps another criminal of the avian type variety, the air variety, not quite avian.
I was gonna say not avian because if we're on the same wavelength here, that's a mammal, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, are bats mammals?
I think so.
No, they can't. No, the bats can't be mammals.
Wait, hang on.
Are they mammals?
Yes, bats are flying mammals.
Oh, that's why Rouge has boobs.